Welcome back to another video. Today we are in the Holiday Cup featuring a different team. Let's see what we're running with today. Looks like we have the Shadow Sandslash here paired with the Lanturn and Skarmory. Our opponent here is going to switch out of that Altaria matchup and switch into the Vigoroth. We're going to counter swap into the Skarmory here. They go for a move. We ended up shielding it, and then we're going to go for the Sky Attack right here. We're going to go for double Sky Attack, I believe. And here we have a decision to make. Are we going to be able to tank this Rock Slide? Yes, we do. We could still lose this advantage, but at least we're going to be threatening another shield. We do get the second shield from our opponent. So at this point, we're going to give up the switch advantage for the shield advantage. And here we're going to come in with our Lanturn to try to potentially farm down and gain all this energy. We know that they have the Altaria still, so we have one shield with a lot of energy on Lanturn, and we still have this Sandslash still. They come back in with the Altaria, we switch into our Sandslash, and we have the perfect counter to their team. They have Lanturn and Altaria paired together. This Sandslash here is the great core breaker to their back line here. Luckily for us, we avoid the Vigoroth on our Sandslash, otherwise this matchup would have completely changed. Here we're going to be able to take down that Lanturn, and now this is just GG's because we're going to be able to resist these Dragon Breaths. Plus, we're going to be able to get to this Ice Punch here to do heavy damage right there. Unfortunately, it doesn't KO, doesn't one-shot KO. It takes roughly 70 to 75% damage right there, but we still have this Lanturn still, and we're going to be able to farm down easily. So GG's to our opponent. Next game, let's see what we find. So the idea behind this team is kind of obviously preparing for a counter user or any fighters. So we have Lanturn and Skarmory to deal with that. We do have to watch out for fire types as we are double weak to fire. So we're trying to avoid fire typings. Here we have the Walrein matchup versus this Alolan and Sandslash. We know that we can go for this draw run pretty easily here. They do decide to shield, which is interesting. They do farm up to potential Earthquake, so we do shield it. But as the match continues, the more prolonged this becomes, the more it's in our favor because we are doing more fast move pressure damage than they are. We do double shield because they double shield. They end up having the double Icicle Spear bait, and we're going to go for a drawer right here, and we are able to farm it down afterwards. Our opponent ends up revealing that they have the Spark Lanturn, so they try to catch a move, and indeed they do catch a move, but unfortunately the Drawer still does a significant amount of damage here. So we're going to farm up before they get to a Frenzy Plant right here. Going to go into our Skarmory to absolutely counter this Venusaur. We don't have to worry about any single move. This is an easy farm down. They're going to be able to get to 2 Frenzy Plants here. Second Frenzy Plant takes it to the yellow, roughly 50% left. And here the idea is to get to potentially 2 Brave Birds. First Brave Bird goes through. They're not going to care about it too much. But the second one will get it low enough, so they are forced to use some energy right here. This Surf does take out the Skarmory, and then we're going to come straight into the Lanturn. We do get a Surf from them because they expected the Sandslash, but we were able to switch out of that situation and go into our Sandslash. So GG's to our opponent right there. We are seeing Lanturn quite a bit now. All right, next game. Let's see. We have the Talonflame. So this is a really bad situation. Unfortunately for us, we're going to have a tough time unless we can win this switch. So we're going to switch out into the Lanturn. They counter swap into their Frostlass. Not necessarily a counter to this Lanturn here. So we're going to throw this Surf. Let's see what they end up doing. This Surf does get a shield from our opponent. So our opponent doesn't want to see this Lanturn take 2 shields from them, do they? Oh, wow. So double shield scenario from our opponent right here. Our opponent is going to CAP tie us. We're going to allow it to go through because we want to potentially get a lot of energy with our Skarmory and potentially throw a Brave Bird towards that Talonflame. Our opponent here is going to come back with the Lanturn though, so this is terrible to worse as they're going to be able to counter swap. Here, they're going to be able to get to the Flame Charge. We have to shield if we want any chance to win here. We're going to throw on optimal timing here. This Ice Punch does take it low, but unfortunately, we had to farm down, and we were not able to farm down. This Talonflame is going to be able to get to another Flame Charge. Does a significant amount of damage. We farmed down, and now we're just left with Skarmory on this Lanturn, and we're not going to bother throwing a move because this is GG's. Well played by my opponent. Couldn't really wiggle out of that situation. Looks like they were going to double shield that Frostlass no matter what. There was an opportunity for us to shield that Lanturn to win back switch, but we decided to take shield advantage. Here we have a great lead. Ends up being the Trevenant. They're staying in for some reason. We're going to get to this Ice Puncher. This Ice Punch does get a shield from our opponent. And then here we have to decide whether we want to shield or let this go. We decided to shield. It ends up being the Shadow Ball, so that was a great shield. We're going to get to another Ice Punch here. We're going to get a second shield, or it's going to KO. They decide to let it go. And we are met with a Dugong. So Dugong here, pretty good against our backline here. It is a core breaker, so we're going to have to potentially either let this go and hope that they bait, or we're going to have to take it out with our own Lanturn. So we do get taken out. They're going to be able to get to another move here. Ends up being the Drill Run. Drill Run does about 50%. And then our opponent here switches out into the Jellicent. This Jellicent is running the Bubble Fast move. They are up to Shadow Ball range. We do survive the Shadow Ball, so we let it go. We're going to throw this Sky Attack here, potentially get a shield. Let's see if our opponent ends up shielding here. No shield from our opponent. And then our opponent here is going to be able to throw a move here. Most likely it's going to be a Surf. This Surf does go through to take out this Skarmory easily. And then we're going to throw a Surf here to try to get it down low enough to a farm down. We do get a shield. And then our opponent here is going to throw a move to pressure. We think it's the Shadow Ball. Unfortunately, it ends up being the Surf. And our only hope here is to farm down. But unfortunately for us, we're not going to be able to survive this Shadow Ball here. So GG's to our opponent right there. Running the Jellicent in the back. Kind of tough for us to deal with. And that Dugong. So they had double waters in the back right there. All right, next game. Let's see. We have the Lanturn lead. This is as good as it's going to get, as this Lanturn does well against our Water Gun Lanturn and our Skarmory. So we have to take advantage of this situation. We know that we can survive this Surf here, so we're going to let this go. And then potentially here, we're going to throw on CFP Tide. This Ice Punch here will take out this Lanturn if they don't shield. They decide to let it go, so we avoid the Lanturn situation. The Artibax is here. So this Artibax is doing some good fast move damage, but not so much against our Skarmory. Skarmory does do super effective Steel Wings. We're going to be able to get to the Sky Attack right here. This Sky Attack does get the shield from the Artibax. And we're looking to potentially farm down, as this Icy Wind here that they just revealed will not KO it, but it does debuff. We switch out. When they switch, they ends up being the Frostlass, and we're going to be able to outpace them to 2 Surfs right there. So GG's to our opponent right there. Check out this team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.